Today we're going to look at mean from a grouped frequency table. Okay, so here we have a frequency table, but what's different from previous ones we would have done in the past is that the data here is grouped. So this is from 110 up to but not including 120, and then from 120 and up to and not including 130, and so forth. Okay, so the first question that you're being asked is write down the modal class interval. Now the modal just means the mode, so in other words, which class interval appears the most? Well, this one here appeared 23 times, so the answer would be 140 up to 150, and you write it down exactly as it appears in the table. So you would write down 140, and you're going to call these just like that, okay? And it's purely because the frequency is the higher number. Now the second question, it's asking about the mean. Okay, so here, work out an estimate for the mean. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to find what we call the midpoint. So I'm just going to zoom in a wee bit here, okay, into the table, and we'll type in midpoint. Okay, so the midpoint is the number that is right in between 110 and 120. Now that's fairly straightforward, it's just going to be 115. Okay, between 120 and 130 is 125, then 135, 145, and 155. If you're unsure how to get the midpoint, sometimes the numbers just aren't quite as clean cut as that. All you do is you add these two numbers together and divide by 2. Okay? Once you've found the midpoint, it's really the same question as the previous mean from a frequency table. We then find our fx, and we do that by multiplying the frequency by the midpoint this time. Okay, so 3 times 115 is 345. 8 times 125 is 1000. 9 times 135 is 1215. 23 times 145 is 3335. And 7 times 155 is 1085. Okay, and just like the last questions, so I'm just going to write down in the space because it's there. The mean equals the sum of the fx column divided by the sum of the frequency column. And in that case, that is all these numbers added up under the fx, so that's 345 plus 1000 plus 1215 plus 3335 plus 1085. That gives me an answer of 6980. And I divide it by the sum of the frequency, so that's this here column added up. 3 plus 8 plus 9 plus 23 plus 7. And that gives me a value of 50. So my mean is going to be 6980 divided by 50. Which gives me 139.6. So that's what I'm going to write down on my answer line. Okay, 139.6. Don't round it to the nearest whole number. Okay, the fact that it's nicely to one decimal place, keep it like that. Okay. If after that first explanation you're happy enough to try the work, by all means go ahead. If you want to listen to another one, I'm going to do another one here. Okay. So Timothy asks 30 people how long it takes to get them to school. The table shows the information about his results. Now what's different from this one and the last one is that the table ends after the first two columns. So all we really need to do is just add on the extra two. So let's just extend that on. And add our two columns. So the first one, as always, whenever it's grouped, is the midpoint. And then the next one's going to be our fx. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in just a wee bit. So the midpoint between 0 and 10 is 5. Between 10 and 20 is 15. 20 and 30 is 25. 35 and 45. Okay, and to find the fx, you multiply the frequency by the midpoint. So I'm just writing in my multiplication sign. 2 times 5 is 10. 8 times 15 is 120. 12 times 25 is 300. 7 times 35 is 245. And 1 times 45 is 45. And again, the same formula for the mean. So the mean is the sum of the fx column divided by the sum of the frequency column. So the frequency, it does say in the question that it's 30. We can just double check. 2 plus 8 plus 12 plus 7 plus 1 is, as it says, 30. The fx column is 10 plus 120 plus 300 plus 245 plus 45 is 720. So my mean is going to be 720 divided by 30, which gives me a nice clean answer of 24. Okay, so we'll write that down in the answer line. 24 minutes. Just a wee check. Whenever you get your value, okay, 24 would appear here between 20 and 30. If your final answer wouldn't appear in one of these columns, then you've made a mistake and you should really go back and try again from the beginning. Okay. Any questions, don't hesitate to send me a wee message. All the best now. Good luck.